chiropractor and Pilates instructor, and we are going to go for day 2 of this lower back pain challenge, but it's not a challenge because it's hopefully going to feel quite nice for the lower back. As I said in the previous video, if you have not been signed off by your healthcare professional to work out, you might want to check in with them before you do this, and if you do this, please do it at your own risk, though it's pretty low risk on the grand scheme of things. Any pain, don't push through. So, plan for today is we are going to be focusing on the hips. Now, I know we're looking at the lower back here, but quite often if we have any sort of dysfunction or irritation through the hips, that's going to sometimes affect the biomechanics of the pelvis and subsequently up into the lower back. So we're going to focus on the hips for today. What I would like you to do, first of all, is have a seat on a mat, a yoga mat. If you haven't got a yoga mat, you could use a towel or a blanket or something like that, but you're going to have a seat. Once you have a seat, what I would like you to do is just find a comfortable position where you can put a little bit of weight through your arms. You don't want to be sort of locked out through the elbows, but we just want a very soft bend in the elbows, almost like you're sat on the beach. Now your legs are going to be just a little bit wider than hip distance apart, so not so wide that you're sort of basically doing the splits or giving birth, but you also don't want them to be together. From here, I want you to just try and drop your knees over to the left hand side, and as you do this, you're going to find a stop-off point where you might not find a stop-off point if you're really super bendy, but you're going to find a stop-off point where your right knee is stuck in internal rotation and your left knee is stuck in, or left hip is stuck in external rotation. You're probably going to feel it more on the right. And then we're going to come across over to the right hand side. So your left knee is into internal, your right leg is into external. And we're just going to slowly sort of windscreen wipe from side to side and just have a notice if one side is different to the other, or it feels different, or you like looking at your legs, you can physically see one side is a little bit more mobile or less mobile than the other. I'm pleased to say mine are not looking too dissimilar, though I have slightly less right internal rotation. And it does, if you have one that's sort of one that's sort of tighter than the other or looser than the other, it's not a problem. Doesn't mean you're going to have back pain or that something's wrong or dysfunctional. It is just something to notice. Fantastic. Okay, once you have done with that, what I would like you to do is to come down onto your back. And I'm going to recommend that you have your legs straight. If that is uncomfortable, go ahead and keep them bent, but just for the purpose of creating a gentle lengthening for our opposing hip, which is going to be this right hip to start off with, you want to have the legs straight. Whenever you're ready, start to bend your left knee into your chest. You're going to hold on to the top of the left shin. Keep your head really relaxed onto the ground. You might want a pillow if that's uncomfortable. And once you've got hold of that left leg, you're just going to find as much compression through that hip as possible. So you're using your arms to almost scoop that hip up towards your chest. Now you're probably going to feel a little something in this left hip here, a little bit of pressure, but what I want you to do is actually look for a stretch in the right hip. So you're really straightening out your right leg. Maybe you're pressing the back of the right leg into the floor, maybe even flexing the right foot so it's like this on the ground to create a little bit more of an opening through that right hip. And really squeeze this leg so you're generating a bit of heat, creating a bit of compression, lengthening out through the lower back a little bit on the left side perhaps. And then we're going to switch that over. So you're going to extend that leg long, bring the right knee into the chest, give it a good squeeze in. Again, you're finding that compression. This left leg, again, is nice and straight. You're pressing the back of the left knee into the floor. This foot is, I don't know how you can see where it's flexed. This is pointed, this is flexed. We're looking for flexed. And we're going to squeeze that right knee into our chest and press the back of the left leg into the floor. As you sort of pull and press, just make sure that you are breathing. Otherwise you'll pass out, and I don't want that. Fabulous. Okay, let's extend that leg out. You can just take a nice long stretch out if you want, just to open everything out. We're now going to think about the stability of our pelvis and of our hips. So abs will get slightly, or stomach muscles will get slightly involved in this, but your hip's going to feel it. What I'll get you to do is just to put your hands on your ilium bones, your hip bones, just here, and then you're going to take your left leg up to the ceiling. Now, if your hamstrings, if these muscles are screaming at you and they're a little bit tight, don't mind if this leg is a little bit bent, that's completely fine. Mine is feeling okay today, so I'm going to go ahead and straighten it. This right foot is either flexed on the floor or it's bent. So it's either here or it's extended and flexed foot. I want you to imagine that your pelvis weighs 20 tons, like it's not going to move anywhere. It's literally locked on the floor, and all that can move is this femur bone, this thigh bone. I'm going to make this as big or as small as you want. I want you to take a breath in, start to bring that femur across your body, so the thigh bone's coming across your body. As it comes across, don't let your hip go with it. Keep your hip glued to the floor. And as you breathe out, you're going to circle that leg around. So this is a really, really, really small, simple movement. You can make it bigger if you're feeling brave. But it's really easy just to sort of let it all go. Like, woo, let the pelvis just control you. No, your pelvis weighs 20 tons, remember, it's not moving anywhere. So we're just moving this thigh bone. It's like your thigh bone is scooping around a bowl, your thigh bone being the spoon, your hip joint being the bowl. I'm just going to keep that going. Your hands are on your hips just to sort of have a sense of where your pelvis is, if it's moving. If it's not moving, mine moved a bit then. And then I'm going to get you to change directions. You're going to come across out towards the side, breathing in for half the circle, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. It's kind of gross, and we're going to keep that going. But yeah, you get the idea. Breathe in for half the circle, breathe out for half the circle. You might find it a little harder in one direction than the other. I'm finding it a little bit harder going out to the side today, but that's okay. Let's go for one more. Probably want to put some music on or something while you're doing this, because it's feeling pretty quiet without any music. You're going to bring that leg down, slide it onto the floor, have a little shake out if you need to. We'll do the same on the other leg. So feel free to move your hands if you want, but I do find it really helpful to have the hands on the hip bones just to feel and sense where your hips are. And remember, your pelvis weighs 20 tons, it's not going anywhere. Take that leg up to the ceiling. This left leg is either bent or you're going to flex the left foot and extend the leg long. Right, let's bring that leg across the body. Take a breath in. Remember, your pelvis does not move. Breath out. Circle it around. Oh, it's moving. 4 more. Breath in. Really slow with this. Don't speed it up, otherwise you just got to do more. Breath in. Breath out. 2 more. Breath in. Breath out. Once more. Breath in. Breath out. Fabulous. And then we're going to change directions. So we're going to come out to the other side. Breath in. Breath out. You can make this as big or as small as you want. Breath in, but the pelvis does not move. Breath out. 3 more. Breath in. Breath out. 2 more. Breath in. Breath out. Once more. Breath in. Breath out. Fantastic, good. Extend that leg long. Give it a little shake out. Marvellous. And then we can take our arms out to the side. You can bend your knees. Take a little shuffle of your feet over to the left hand side. Just a tiny bit, just so you're not dead centre. You're going to drop your knees as far over to the left hand side as you can. If they come all the way down, great. This right one probably won't come all the way down, but it might do. Doesn't matter. Either way, once you're there, You might feel enough of a stretch here. We're looking for a little bit of a stretch out through the lower back itself, but also through this top hip, this right hip. If you're not feeling too much here and you do want to encourage a little bit more of a stretch, don't force it, just encourage it. Take this bottom foot, this left foot, and just gently place it on top of the right thigh. You are not sort of slamming this foot down to force more of a stretch here. Just gently encouraging a little tiny bit more of a stretch. No force, just encouragement. And breathe. Okay, we can go the other way now. If you want to stay there longer, go for it. But come up, just a little shuffle over to the other side, nothing too dramatic. Bring the legs over to the right hand side. I already kind of feel enough of a stretch here, to be honest, but if you want to, go ahead and take that right foot over the top of the left thigh, just to encourage a tiny bit more internal rotation through this top leg, but don't force it, don't push it down, let's slam it to the ground. And then bring yourself up, feet central. Going to finish off with a very gentle windscreen wiping action of the knees, just to bring a bit of movement back into our hips. And we will leave it there for today. Have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.